what was important was to empower staff with a genuine confidence to move forward with something different and to look at all planning for learning through the lens of the 4 purposes.
Giving staff the freedom to create new schemes of work, giving them the confidence to embed the 4 purposes and to think of something that was beneficial for the pupils and not just a tick list of, right, there we're being ethical, there we're being informed, but actually that this is going to be of benefit to the pupils and this will make them better learners, but also better members of society. And I don't think that anybody, any parent or carer or any teacher, when you look at the 4 purposes, would think that isn't the kind of pupil that I want in front of you, that isn't the kind of learner that I want heading to, 7, 8 and 9, but also for the future.
I think the greatest challenge for staff was suddenly having that expectation that they could choose what they were going to do. It took a little while for staff to get on board with this. They were quite, wanted to stick with what they'd already got beforehand. But then gradually, as the conversations took place, as we met with other learning areas and started to talk about what they were doing, this almost snowballed when people just got more and more confident, thinking, well, actually, we could do this. I've always wanted to do that. And that was coming in and enriching our curriculum in a way that we would never have done before. That moment when we just all sat down in a room was really, really powerful. Conversation just went alive. People started thinking, well, we could do this, and actually we could do that, and then the links started to become very organic, and it just flew. And I think working with people with a different perspective actually really brings your curriculum alive. It gives you an opportunity to think about things in a completely different way.
And I think people shouldn't be fearful that they will be taken out of their specialism and made to do something that they don't feel confident in teaching. That's not the approach that we have taken.
Within our area of learning experience, every member of staff, regardless of whether they were going to teach it or not, were involved in the planning process. Everybody had a voice, everybody was on board in terms of having a vision of what we were trying to create. It wasn't something that was imposed. Everybody collectively came together to really decide what we felt teaching and learning should be like within our own learning area.
What joins us together as a learning area? I mean, for us in particular, we've looked at our skills, oracy, reading, writing. Those are the things where we can find commonality, which will be of benefit to our learners. And it is always back to what will benefit our learners in the classroom, not what will necessarily just tick that box and say, yes, we have done that.
And providing context and relevance to all learning activities was the biggest challenge. If we could find no inherent purpose within doing something, then why do it? It has to have relevance to resonate with the pupils. The beauty of the new curriculum is the autonomy it provides schools with to be able to respond to contextual changes as society changes, as cohort changes, as individual groups change. You have the flexibility to adapt to those changes and create learning experiences bespoke to the needs of those learners.
We're still reflecting, we're still evolving. The curriculum is not as we want it to be yet, and society is evolving at a rate, and so we should respond to that as well.
We now have more freedom than we've ever been afforded as a profession, and there is a lot of trepidation that goes with that blank sheet of paper. Staff should feel empowered by that rather than fearful of it. We are asking pupils to be ambitious and capable learners and to be resilient. Well, we were challenging staff to be exactly the same. So we've had to be far more innovative, more creative, more collaborative than we've ever been previously. And staff have flourished in the opportunities that have been provided to work with other professionals in the organisation in coming up with innovative ways of unlocking learning for our students. Ultimately, what will determine the success of this curriculum as well is what accountability measures sit alongside the curriculum. But it is for government to ensure that accountability measures very closely align with what is emerging within the curriculum, and then for Qualifications Wales to also ensure that a suite of qualifications ultimately exists that complements the learning journey that students are on from the age of 3 right the way through to 16. We were very keen throughout the process of curriculum design to not let the assessment tail wag the dog, if you like. We didn't want assessment to kill the creativity that was emerging from our innovative, collaborative planning sessions.
And I understand that people can be fearful of the future of where are our learners going in terms of GCSEs. But if by the end of year 9, we have our full purposes learners as they should be, I don't think it matters whatever the qualification is that they will be sitting.
It almost doesn't matter what waits for us at GCSE or even A-level. If we get this curriculum right, we will have learners who will thrive with any level of challenge.